Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Funmi, and today I'm going to be talking about how quickly you should or should not reapply for a visa after refusal. The reason I'm doing this video is because I get lots of emails, messages, people coming to me and saying, oh, I just got denied, really frustrated, saying, I just got denied my visa. The visa application didn't go as I thought. When is a good time to reapply? Should I do it immediately? Should I give it time? How should I go about it? Which is the reason why I'm doing this today. So if you find yourself in that boat, you've been denied, or you know somebody that has been denied and they're freaking out about when to reapply or how to go about it, and this video is just for you. So to start with, I always say that it varies when you should reapply because it all has to do with individuals, what happened at that your interview. So if you had a face-to-face interview, like a physical interview with maybe someone at the US embassy, then I would be able to ask you what happened, what transpired, do you have your transcripts, is this something I can have a look at? And if it's not a one-on-one, if it's something that you uploaded your documents, then I usually say, can I have a look at the denial notice or refusal notice? So when I have a look at it, I'll be able to say, perhaps this is the reason why this person was denied. And that way I can make some suggestions on how to go about it, if you need to wait, if you need to reapply immediately. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about different scenarios and when you need to wait and when you don't need to wait. So for example, let's start with the US Embassy. If you had like an interview and it was really quick, the visa officer didn't ask you so many questions, just one or two questions, and it just seemed like they were just quick to deny you, it might be that maybe one, they didn't really understand your situation or what you were trying to say. Number two, it may be that they have access to something on your file or your DS-160 form that you are not aware of. And one of the things that triggered this kind of denial is, for example, you have a family member that has been to the US or that is in the US and applied just the same way you're applying, tourism basis or maybe student visa, and then return to their home country. Remember, I said previously in one of the shots I did like a month ago, saying that what your family members do with their visa application has a very huge effect on yours. So it might be that they can see that you have a family member that has used the same method that you're using right now to apply for visa and has refused to come back to their home country. What comes to mind is, what is to say that this person will be different? So it means that you're in the same boat as your family member, and that way you're quick to get in a denial without them having to look so much at your case or individually. So that being said, I usually just say to people, when you get a denial, don't be quick to just say, oh, I'm going to apply again. No, because I always say that read through your transcript very well. And if it's not a one-on-one interview, if it's something that you just submitted documents, make sure you read through carefully. Try to understand why you were denied. Sometimes for some people, when you go on one-on-one, it might be your delivery, it might be your body language, it might be your countenance, and it might just be because you have to think about it. If it was really fast, you have to think about it. Number one, to start with, always understand that the visa officer doesn't have anything against you. Yes, they're not looking, they're not eager to give you that visa or to approve it. They don't have any personal issues or vendetta against you. So they don't have a reason to say, oh, Fumilayo Fatuba is coming to my booth, I'm going to deny her this visa. No. So you need to check, what did you do wrong? Was it your attitude? Was it your countenance? What question did they ask you that maybe perhaps the way you answered it wasn't correct, or maybe it didn't go down well with the visa officer? Because sometimes you can tell The US Embassy, they do that a lot when they ask you a question and they start typing and they start typing. Once you start typing that way, don't panic. Some people panic and they start to say what they're not supposed to say. But anyway, I'm not talking about that today. I'm talking about when you should reapply. So when you have looked at your case and you believe strongly that they are not understanding your situation, then that way you can reapply immediately or almost immediately. Because if you feel like everything you have is right, maybe the question that was asked you answered in a particular way, and perhaps the person interviewing you misunderstood it or didn't quite understand you, it might be the reason for your denial. So that way you can reapply almost immediately. But note now that when you're reapplying, you're completing your form, they would have asked you, have you ever been denied a visa? Yes. And then they might ask reason. For this reason, you might say that you feel like the visa officer misunderstood you or didn't quite understand what you were trying to say. That way, you've already, like, I'm a lawyer, so I would say front loaded that. So when you put that ahead, it goes ahead of you before you show up for the interview. And then the space where you have in your DS-160 form, where they ask you if you have additional information, you can impute that in there as well. So if you feel like you're someone that didn't get much of a chance during your interview, like you were only there for maybe 30 seconds, and after a question or two, you were denied, it might be that you were misunderstood. It might be that you were too nervous and the visa officer feels like they cannot trust you. So that's something that you can work on within a short period of time. And the good news for this is that you can indeed reapply like almost immediately. If you have someone that was denied on the basis that maybe your situation, when it changes, you can reapply, or they talk about how much you're earning, how much you're looking to spend, or maybe your finances or ties, then I would say do not reapply immediately. Give it time. But then if you want to reapply immediately, you have to be sure that, you know, what actually made that officer snap immediately or didn't give you or make them not give you a chance, you've taken care of it. So when you're filling that form, the DS-160, like I said, make sure you try to cross all your T's and dot all your I's, and make sure that you try to explain your situation better so that the person handling your file has an idea of what your story is before you actually get to that booth for the interview. But remember, before you go, make sure you get advice to determine why you got the refusal. Was it based on your background, something in your form, or something in your something you're not saying that triggered it, or maybe it was your body language, your countenance. So make sure that you try to get expert advice so that you can cross that out before you reapply again, because you are going to be spending money and money is not easy to come by these days. So you just don't want to throw your money away just because you are convinced within you that you should have gotten that visa. Try to get expert advice so they can help you have a look at your document or maybe your situation, and then they can analyze it to you better, saying maybe this, maybe that, because nobody can be 100% sure, but at least they would have a better idea of what might have triggered this snappy refusal where you were not given a chance. So make sure you check it. Sometimes it might be your delivery, sometimes it might be your ability to be able to communicate very well. Remember that I said it in one of my videos that when you are going for an interview, just use plain, simple English, no big grammar. Because by the time you're trying to speak big English, then you shoot yourself in the foot and then you start mixing medications and you're saying the wrong thing. And you really don't want to do that to yourself. So make sure that it's not your delivery, it's not your communication. If it is, then that's something you can pretty much work on pretty fast. So, of course, that way you can reapply almost immediately as well. But for other situations where you apply and the visa officer asks you a lot of questions and they particularly seem interested in one particular thing, or maybe you didn't go for a one-on-one interview, but in the response they did say that maybe you're ineligible, or maybe you did not prove this enough or that not, so that means that is a particular reason. And I always say to people, tackle that reason. Sometimes they say to you that, oh, you can reapply when your situation changes. Now, let's say, for instance, you apply for a visa and then in your refusal notice, they say that they do not believe that you have enough funds. And then you have gone to apply or to the embassy with a bank account that has a closing balance of millions of naira. I'm talking about Nigeria here, or millions of whatever currency of whatever country you're in, and you feel like it shouldn't be the reason because you have funds in your account. Now is the time to focus on how you got the funds. How did you get the funds in your account? Is it that you just dumped a huge sum of money in your bank account and you made it stay there and you're just looking at it day by day, sitting in your account, saying that I'm building my bank statement for this interview? Is it that unexplainable huge sum of monies was just coming into your account and just sitting there? Is it that for you, maybe on a regular month, you probably have maybe like 100,000, or maybe like 50,000 or 200,000 or 1 million coming into your account? And then when it's close to when you're going for your interview or you're submitting your application, you start having that multiple millions, say like you start having like 2 million sit there, a 5 million get deposited into your account. Now that raises a red flag because it looks like you're trying to build a story that is not. You're trying to portray what is not. You do not actually have that money in your bank account, but you're just getting funds from different places to make it sit in your bank account so it looks like you actually do have it. This raises a red flag, and when they look at it, so for instance, your monthly earnings is like a 500,000, and then you've been having this 500 come into the account, and you every month you take maybe like a 350 out of it and you have 150 for savings. But then suddenly close to your application or your interview, you start having 1 million, 2 million, 5 million in some months coming into your account. And even when your salary just come in as a 500, you only just take maybe 20,000 out of it, you have the money sitting in. It looks funny, then that means they are actually talking about your bank statement, meaning that you don't have access to the funds that in your bank account. If that is your situation, I would say do not try to apply immediately. You have to give it time. You have to wait. Don't forget that most of these embassies, they require you to have at least 6 months bank statement before you apply. So if you are in that kind of situation and you're looking to reapply with a new bank statement, then that means give or take, you have to give your situation 6 months because you have to build their bank account. So I would advise that you wait. And like I said, each person's situation is different. So whatever situation you find yourself in, you need to know what exactly triggered it, so that way you know if you can apply almost immediately or you need to wait. But then the bottom line, and what I always say is, you're looking to reapply almost immediately or you're one that wants to wait. The bottom line is still that you must get to the cause of why you were denied the visa in the first place. If you don't tackle it, you will just get the same result all over again. And then you reapply again and get the same result. And you really do not want to do that. You don't want to keep going back to the embassy and keep getting a refusal and a refusal. It is not good for you. So whatever your situation is, you're going for a physical interview, you're sending document in, make sure you do get to the root of the cause. Try to figure out why you were refused. And this is time that you need to seek the help or the opinion of an expert in that field so they can look at it and tell you perhaps this is what you did wrong and this is how you can go about it. So, like I said, for everyone, the situation is different. Make sure you look at your own situation and try to get to the root of the cause and make sure you tackle it before you reapply again. It's hard earned money after all, and it is your money, and you just don't want to throw it away. So make sure you get it right before you reapply again. Be it one day, be it one week, be it one year. Make sure you get to the root of the cause. And that will be all from me today. Till next week. Take care. Bye bye.